Things like this usually don't happen in a community like ours. It's very tragic.
Investigators release autopsy reports today for 8 members of an Ohio family killed execution style.
We begin tonight with a deadline that has passed for the mother of 2 missing children from Rexburg.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If you're new here, we talk about all things true crime related. It's been a busy few days for me. It's been a little bit since I posted a video, probably about a week. This update is a little bit old. I wanted to get it out sooner. It's just been a crazy week. Last night, my husband was sick. Prior to that, I was kind of dealing with some personal things. So I've been a little, like I said, MIA. I did just get done recording the last Patreon video for October, but let's jump into today's video. Please remember that all crimes are alleged and everyone we discuss is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, like I said, this is a little bit older, about a week old. There has been some new charges against Keon King in connection with the death of 23-year-old Kada Scott. Police have said that they're still unsure how long or how well the two knew each other. They do know that the communication between King and Kada started on at least September 28th and ended on October 4th. Now, I'm not really sure what took place from September 28th to October 2nd, because in the arrest warrant, it says on October 2nd, Keon texted Kada, "Yo, Kada, this is my new number." Kada replied, "Who's this?" And King texted, "Kel." Now, I have no idea how Keon King translates to Kel, or maybe this was a name that isn't really his name that she knew him by. I'm sure we'll learn more about that and any other unanswered questions, hopefully, once we get to trial. On October 3rd, around 11:30 p.m., Philadelphia police responded to 6600 Sprague Street for a vehicle theft in progress. It's reported that a delivery driver had their 2008 black Hyundai Accent hatchback running and unlocked when a man dressed in all black got in and drove off. Police would say that King's cell phone was in the general area of this car theft till about 12:22 a.m., and then it left that area, arriving at a home on Belmar Terrace at around 12:42 a.m. The next day, October 3rd, Kada would text King at 10:07 a.m. saying, "Kidnap me again." King would reply to this saying, "Better be up too," and from there the two would make plans for that evening. I'm not sure if investigators are aware of what those plans were, but they haven't released any information publicly about what their discussion of meeting up was. And I'm really curious about this part. It makes me wonder if they had done something before, as in when I was in the Navy, there would be times where people would be on watch and they could say something like, "Come kidnap me," or something like that, being completely harmless in a way of like a flirtatious "come hang out with me" inside joke. But it does seem like she maybe willingly got in the car. I'm not really sure. I feel like I go back and forth with this, but it does not appear like it's a situation like Kelsey Smith, where someone forced her into the car in a Target parking lot so fast that the detectives almost missed it on camera. Now, that night on October 4th, Kada had plans with people before heading to work. Her mother said that she saw her at her home around 9:45 p.m. just before Kada left to go to her overnight shift at the Chestnut Hill home. According to GPS data, these two locations were just 6 minutes apart. She was working there at the terrace for the last few weeks, and that night she was working the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. A coworker would later tell police that Kada was at work around 10 p.m., and around that same time, she overheard Kada saying on the phone, "I can't believe you're calling me about this shit." The coworker said that Kada was walking towards a dark-colored SUV outside their job, and according to the arrest warrant, the vehicle left immediately after that. I'm not sure what's happening with this SUV and where it fits in. I'll include a photo again of the 2008 Honda Accent, which appears to be the car that was stolen and that possibly Kada Scott got into. We'll go ahead and get into that a little bit later. But I'm not sure about this SUV. I'm not sure if it was for Kada. I'm not sure if they're implying that this SUV was King, because I don't think a Honda Accent looks at all like an SUV. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Cell phone data showed a text from Kada's phone to King at 10:09 p.m. saying, "CM when you get here," meaning call me when you get here. I'm old and they had to spell that out for me. Now, cell phone records would also show 12 calls made from King's phone to Kada's phone number, with the last one being at 10:12 p.m. and it would ping off a cell phone tower near her work. From there, the data indicates that Kada and King's devices began traveling together around 10:15 p.m. heading southbound towards Mount Pleasant Ave. Records would show that Kada's iPad was last active at 10:21 p.m. and that her cell phone shortly after that at 10:24 p.m. is when all of her cell phone activity would cease on the network. It appears that the phone was powered off while traveling southeast from the Chestnut Hill Terrace towards Mount Airy. At 10:28, a car matching the 2008 black Hyundai, referred to in the arresting documents as the suspect's vehicle, was seen pulling into the parking lot in front of the Aubrey Rec Center. It backs into the road closest to the playground, and one person is seen exiting the driver's side door before they were seen walking through the playground towards a fence line. The device linked to King shows a return to a home on Belmore Terrace. Now, Kada's iWatch would show that it was stationary at the location of the suspect's vehicle, showing the last ping at 1:14 a.m. These details appear to have been obtained by Kada Scott's family and later provided to police, these last pings of things. We know that when Kada didn't arrive home with her mother's car, she knew something was wrong. It just wasn't like Kada to disappear and for her to not answer her phone. After trying to repeatedly reach her, Kada's mother would report her missing on October 5th. Surveillance video footage from that night on October 5th at 11:39 p.m. shows a vehicle pulling into the rec center parking lot again. This time, this vehicle would park with the row closest to the street, facing towards the rec center. The vehicle is consistent with a gold 1999 Toyota Camry registered to Keon King. At least 2 individuals are seen exiting the Camry. One is on foot while the other appears to be driving like a motorized scooter or an e-bike circling around the parking lot before both exit the camera's view. It would be 4.5 hours later at 3:56 a.m. when the 2 individuals would reappear walking back towards the suspect's car. One of them could be seen motioning towards the car parked by the street, and that vehicle would turn its headlights on and exit the parking lot. So that's 3 people total. We have 2 people exiting the car and 1 person in the car leaving. Meanwhile, the 2 individuals walking towards the suspect's car, they were seen on video removing a heavy object from the passenger side door, and this object was consistent with that of human remains. They carried the object towards the playground in the general direction to which the remains were later found. Then about 30 minutes later, roughly about 4:25 a.m., the same 2 individuals appear on camera again, walking back towards the suspect's car and getting inside of it for a short time before exiting once more and heading back towards the playground and out of camera view. According to the arrest documents, King's phone appeared in the area of the criminal justice system for about 45 minutes on October 6th, I believe it was. Police used this data location to help confirm that the same cell phone was used that night was linked to King as he was scheduled in court that day. So they used all of that, the car, the cell phone, and knowing that he was going to be in court that day to confirm that this car and this vehicle matched up. Investigators would also speak to a number that was in conversation or texting and communicating a lot with this Text Now phone, and they would confirm that the person that used his phone, his name was Kay. He was described as a black male, mid-20s, thin build, about 5'9", with twisted hair, which matches to King's appearance. More activity at the rec center was captured around 2:48 a.m. on October 7th. One individual was seen running into camera view from the playground area, then entering the suspect's vehicle and driving off in it. Records would show that King's phone left the rec center area around the same time the suspect's vehicle was seen leaving the area. His device then reported north, placing him near the area of a reported vehicle location from the time of 2:58 a.m. to 3:33 a.m. This vehicle fire was officially called in at 3:31 a.m., right around the same time that King's phone left the area. On October 9th, I would assume police already had King's cell phone data because by then a search warrant was obtained for that house on Belmar Terrace, the one that cell phone would repeatedly go back to walking through the playground. At that time, police found 2 women in the home. One of them, we'll just refer to her by her first name as Madeline because her email was actually linked to the phone that King was using. It was her email, but we'll just use her first name as we don't know her or her involvement in this. And the other woman was a friend of hers who had been staying at the home for just a few days. Search of the home turned up 3 phones, 1 tablet, contractor bags, latex gloves, a hammer, and 9mm ammunition. However, the phone that King had been using was not recovered at the residence. Police would attempt to speak with Madeline, who at first asked for an attorney, but later changed her mind and agreed to speak with detectives. She would tell investigators that she did not know who Kada Scott was, that she was not in the area of the rec center, she was not in the area of her workplace, and she did have a Text Now number, but she wasn't sure what it was. She did, however, confirm that the email account that was linked to the phone, they confirmed it with her. She confirmed that no one else has access to that account. Madeline also told police that on October 6th, she received a phone call from Kada's family asking if she knew where Kada was. She said she has no knowledge of ever calling or texting Kada and that she did not have any information about Kada's whereabouts. She said that shortly after the phone call, she gave the phone to her friend that had been staying with her. Now, police would speak to this friend who gave a slightly different account. She said that she was actually never given the phone by Madeline, but she was present when the family called and spoke with her, and that Madeline became nervous after that conversation. Now, the last activity on King's phone that he was using was recorded at the Belmar Terrace home, the one that they searched, on October 9th, the day they searched. On October 10th, police conducted a search of the Aubrey Rec Center, but they did not find anything during the search. Around 3 p.m. that same day, surveillance footage shows King's 1999 gold Toyota Camry arriving at the Gypsy Lane condos. He was seen getting out, accessing the trunk, and then walking away. It's reported that he has family living in the condo complex. On October 14th, the assistant district attorney approved several charges, including kidnapping, recklessly endangering another person, involving the use of a communication faculty, and tampering with evidence. King surrendered that day with his present attorney and declined an interview with investigators. The next day, on October 15th, a press conference was held announcing the arrest of Keon King and asking for the public's help in locating both Kada Scott and King's 1999 gold Toyota Camry. Investigators later would respond to the Ada Lewis Middle School after receiving a tip where they said they found items belonging to Kada Scott, including her EBT card. Now, I do want to say that the Ada Lewis Middle School is directly across the street from the rec center. Later that same day, thanks to another tip received from the public, King's Camry was located and towed so police could conduct a search in it. Then on October 18th, there was another tip that came in, again pointing to the Ada H. Lewis School, this time giving police a more detailed location of where to look. A grid search was conducted and fresh dirt led investigators to a shallow grave. Inside were remains consistent with a female, and near the rec center gate, a silver gold earring matching one found near the burial site was also recovered. King was arraigned on his charges and given a $2.5 million bail. Then on October 19th, a medical examiner confirmed that the remains that were found were those of Kada Scott. Following that confirmation, the assistant district attorney approved additional charges, including arson, causing catastrophe, conspiracy, tampering with evidence, recklessly endangering another person, and receiving stolen property. The ADA would say that they are waiting on the cause and manner of death at that point before filing further charges related to her murder. They also said that they do believe other people were involved, which lines up with what we already knew about those other people seen on camera. Within the next day or so, it was officially announced that Kada's death was ruled a homicide. Although that day there was no cause of death released immediately, the ADA did file new charges against King, including murder. Investigators believe that Kada was killed within 20 to 30 minutes after she disappeared that night, so within 20 to 30 minutes of that 10:15 time. So by 10:45, they believe that she was already dead. The following morning, it was confirmed that Kada Scott was killed by a gunshot wound to the head. Police officers are still asking for tips, both about other people involved and to determine whether King has additional victims, since he is already known to be a serial offender with prior kidnapping and strangulation charges involving another woman. Now, anyone with any information is urged to contact the Philadelphia Police at 215-686-TIPS or the Philadelphia District Attorney at 215-686-800. On Sunday, October 26, family and friends gathered to release balloons in Kada's honor outside the Philadelphia Art Museum, and it's noted that her services will be this Saturday. Her family released a statement saying that they're appreciative to everybody for all the thoughts and prayers. However, they do want their privacy, and they listed some lawyers and other people to contact. So I did see a comment on my last video about Kada Scott where someone was saying that they believe that the current DA, Larry Krasner, I believe his name is a great DA, and that's completely fair for someone to feel. I just want to reiterate, like I said before, I don't know him or any of the other DAs out of Philadelphia. I did hear that his opponent who was running against him for the DA position told Fox News that the current DA, as in Larry Krasner, was a co-conspirator because of King's previous cases and how they were handled. And I feel like that's just crazy to me. How did we get here? How did a family who's grieving a 23-year-old daughter turn into people talking about this as a political talking point? Because we need to hold Keon King, the person who kidnapped her, the person who murdered her, the person who buried her, responsible, along with anyone else that was involved. And I do want to say that this other opponent also spoke with Brian Eaton and said that if he was elected, he would look more into the Ellen Greenberg case, which I did mention in my last video. Again, so gross to me. Seems like we're using these as leverage on how to get elected. It's just disgusting. But that's all I have. I could go on and on about nothing. Yeah. But please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I do see that like 85% of you who are watching aren't subscribed. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like, it really helps out the channel. I'm really trying to grow. But until next time, stay safe out there. The world's an ugly place.